Hold on.
Well, because it's of course it's award season, there's a lot of buzz on this performance on a film. And Greta, you've been there before. What does it mean to you? Does it have a significance of Oscar awards, all that
Do they have a significance?
for you?
Yeah, of course. Like, it's great. It's it's so nice to be spoken about in that way. I think one of the things that I've definitely learned from the last time in particular is that you really don't know what's going to happen, and it is quite unpredictable. But I think it's nice if you do go through it and you go through the whole journey of it. You get to know people, like you get to know the other actors that are going through this whole thing too, and the other filmmakers, and it becomes quite communal and quite supportive. So that's something that if it were to happen again for the film, it would just be lovely to do that, because there's great movies coming out, and to get to like share that with everyone. I mean, even to see the way the people from Moonlight and La La Land handled that whole thing last year, like they've spent so much time together at that stage, months and months. So that's the positive to all of this, really.
Now, we talked to Greta about a month ago, and then she was saying how great and how grateful she is actually for you as a person, as an actor. And you did say downstairs that she inspires you. So how did you guys get together on a project? In a way, how did she describe the character for you, and how you actually made it your own to construct this teenager?
So how did we get together? We met officially. It's like we're a couple. We met in Toronto at the film festival in 2015, and I had read the script at that stage, and we had Skyped about it, and we're very, very giddy around each other, like instantly very giddy around each other. And it was the same when we met in person, and we read through the whole script, and I did Lady Bird obviously, and then Greta played like all the other roles, every other part in the script. And I think, I wouldn't necessarily say that I had figured out who Lady Bird was after that meeting, or even by the first day. But the good thing about a film like this is that, and just doing movies in general, is that it spans over the life of someone, like over the course of about a year and a half. So every moment you go to is quite significant, and you're really able to hone in on that moment and what it is and what it means to her and who she is in that moment. And I think with Lady Bird in particular, she's sort of like, she's trying on all these different characters in order to figure out who she is. She's a showman one minute, she's filled with self-doubt the next, she's, a literary artist the next minute. So like she's finding herself, and it was really great actually in hindsight to not have the whole picture figured out on day one, and for Greta and I think as soon as we came together, she was born out of whatever collaboration we had.
It's like every teenager goes through that phase in a way,
Yeah.
trying to discover.
Yeah.
But did you go through that? And also, did you have like a rebellious phase with your parents or yourself? Or
I never really had a rebellious phase, no. I think maybe it helped that like I went away a lot. I worked away. I was with a lot of amazing people, a lot of creative people who were very experienced, and I learned a lot from them and continue to. So I don't know if I ever felt the need to. I think sometimes people do when they feel trapped or misunderstood or whatever, and I didn't really feel like that overall. And what was the other thing?
Well, I want to follow up that and just said
Yeah.
trap, because she does seem to feel trapped with the parent, like, especially with the mother.
Yeah.
That relationship that we see in the film, and the dynamic with you and Laura is amazing. So talk about how you view that relationship between them, and how you guys went through those fight sequences.
Yeah, Laurie and I, we didn't have that much time actually to rehearse. All in all, I'd say we had about maybe a week and a half to like do costume fittings, do a read through, do camera tests, all that sort of stuff. So the time we actually had to do table work was very small, and myself and Laurie and Greta probably spent maybe 3 or 4 hours, no more than that, going through all of our scenes. And Laurie made a really good suggestion that we, from scene to scene, especially the argument scenes, which is pretty much every second scene between them, we needed to find a trigger, and we needed to figure out what it was that made this argument scene different to the last one, because they can't just be like barking at each other every time we see them. One needed to be more emotional, one needed to be, you know, dragging something up from the past, another one needed to be them at loggerheads. So it was important to map all of that out. And I think having someone like Laurie be so open and willing to like do anything and go as far as she can go to like get to the heart of this meant that I could, and it made me feel very safe to do that too. So I just, she's a great person to learn from and to work with, and she felt like a sparring partner, you know, like, yeah.
And Greta as a director?
How was she as a director? She was amazing. She was so supportive of us, and again, very open. Like Greta, I'm sure you've spoken to her, like she's a very open person and very sincere, and her heart and soul was poured into this project. Like she cares about it so much and cares about us, and I think she picked everyone for a very particular reason, everyone who's in this film. So we really felt like there was a lot of belief in us from her.
She did say that she saw the film more like a transformation of love.
Yeah, exactly. It's an evolution of love, and it's seeing how love can change with two particular people, or your love for home, and how your relationship with home is never quite the same once you've left it, and it becomes so sort of complicated and a little murky in how you view it when you're near the end of your time there, essentially. And so that's what we're seeing in Lady Bird.
Can I have one more? And she also said one person coming of age is another person letting go.
Yeah.
And that little bit, you know, are you okay? Are you good at letting go in certain ways?
It depends on what I'm letting go of. It depends. Depends on what it is. Letting go is hard, because it's change as well, you know. But I think sometimes if you know it's for good, then it's just something you have to do. But yeah, it's never easy to do that.
Obrigada. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Congratulations.